As a planning student, we need you to understand that the way this works with the consultants and the city is they're going to use an automated software. We've said this before, to get the fastest plat with the least effort to make the most profits for the consultant. We're in a mindset that we have to get the job out quicker. We, meaning the consulting industry. The consultant then is not really consulting. The consultant is simply a draftsman. So there's a difference. A consultant advises. We have to look at what's beyond expectations, because what you see here would be commonplace in the industry that you are going to school to serve. It was the intent of the contract for the consultant to take the time and create a wonderful neighborhood that will set the client, the developer who's paying the consultant, above the competition, far more than what is expected by what is the minimums. To deliver a neighborhood of character that will be there for centuries is not going to be easy, because nobody expected anything else. Nothing requires it. So the CAD and GIS software that you're learning doesn't go the extra step because no one is expecting anything else. Imagine the 1950s and early 60s when car dashboards were made of steel and knobs and projections of the dials and everything were like knives sticking at the passengers with no seatbelts. It wasn't until Sammy Davis Jr. got into a car accident and the steering wheel of his Cadillac knocked his eye out. That's why he had one eye. Was the awareness that maybe we should redesign the car interiors. Well, land development is the steel dashboards. Nobody knows what this will look like or what the other plat will look like. It's very important that people don't see just lot lines. That what should be really emphasized is every physical man-made item that people will see. People don't live from above. That's how we submit site plans. So it's really important not only to have all the man-made elements, but with this LandMentor system, it will know what that element is, what the square footage is, or square meters, and then you'll be able to apply cost to that and know at the get-go what that will be. And then with that, we chart it because we're automatically taking and applying those surfaces and the physical items, and your CAD system can't do it because it's not spatial. Well, I'm sorry, it can do it if you have a month to go point to point to point to point and create polylines on everything. And your GIS system, which is spatial but not accurate, is not sufficient to do this. So this is why LandMentor is a solution and not CAD or GIS. Because a surface-based analytical geometry system can easily get these numbers versus CAD and GIS, where you have to take painstakingly process to even come up with something similar that is not correct. When you look at what CAD is costing and GIS is costing, this brings a much more affordable and attractive solution, and it makes the pain of meetings far less, and because of that, it will be less time in the approval process. So the concluding thoughts is we're still expecting data from 1917. And cities and developers should demand far more detail, but you're not getting it because it's too long and difficult in CAD and GIS. So consultants need to retool. And 3D and virtual reality should be free. It should be a byproduct of the normal workflow. So it wouldn't add any time or hardly any time. The LandMentor system is designed for video game technology to take over at a certain step and then produce the very easy and enjoyable to use 3D. And we can only produce space and views if we have the kind of detail that actually can produce space and views. And that's again where CAD and GIS falls apart and why you need to really learn LandMentor. And as far as character, that's never going to happen if you just plat lots and streets. It's just never going to happen. It's going to happen on happenstance if the architect and the developer are willing to work together and have a very high budget to pull it off. You don't need high budgets. You can have wonderful places for people of all income, but someone has to actually make a change. And that someone is you as a student. If you want to be a future leader, adopt the system. The regulations aren't sufficient, but they could be supplemented by a process that you will learn by reading the material in the LandMentor system. And you'll benefit whether you're working for a developer, builder, or city. You will benefit everybody involved. So we urge you again and again, when you dive into the LandMentor system, read all of the material, because it's not how to use the software as much as how to think differently.